So, welcome to our lecture series called Places in News. Well, we actually ran this series just before UPSC Prelims examination 2024, right? And we ran this series just for the purpose of covering geographical locations that might be asked as MCQs in prelims examination. All right. Now, geographical locations or location based questions are important for prelims as well as mains examination. So those of you who are planning to give UPSC exam next year or next to next year, well, we have repackaged this series and relaunched this series. Okay, so this is an important series because geographical locations, the kind of questions that are asked in prelims and mains examination from geographical locations are those locations which were in the news. So if you are serious about next year's attempt or next to next year's attempt, well, you should start preparing for these geographical locations right now. It's an year-long process, and follow this lecture series regularly. Okay, for the entire next 1 year or till your examination, we'll be covering important places in news that feature in newspapers. All right, that are important, very important. Now, today we are going to cover Borno, Nigeria. This was in news. A big terrorist attack happened in Borno, Nigeria, and that is why this region became important for your next year's prelims examination as well as mains examination. Okay, so listen carefully. All right. Now, why was this in news? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so why was this thing in news? Well, recently, a few female suicide bombers targeted a wedding, a funeral, a hospital in coordinated attacks in northern Nigeria's Borno State that killed at least 18 people. And mostly people say that this attack might have been carried out by Boko Haram, a terrorist organization operating in Africa, Western Africa. Okay, because this region, this Borno state in Nigeria, it is a state in Nigeria. This state is very poor. It ranks very low in human development indices, and it is victim to terrorist attacks from Boko Haram since 2009. Insurgency from Boko Haram. All right. Now, chances are that Boko Haram carried out these attacks, these female suicide attacks, and it has lost it. It has actually impacted the lives of many people. 18 people have died. Okay. Now, because of this terrorist attack, Boko Haram became a news discussion. Okay, became a part of discussion, and Borno State became a part of discussion. This geographical location became important due to this terrorist attack, and hence we are going to discuss. Okay, so let's talk about Borno State. So as you can see in the map, this is Nigeria, and on the northeastern side of Nigeria is Borno State. Now, Borno geographically is the second largest state. There is a state called Niger also, somewhere here. Okay. Niger is also a country and also a state in Nigeria. Nonetheless, second largest state of Nigeria, and it lies on the northeastern side of Nigeria. Okay. It is the only state that shares international borders with three countries. It is the only state of Nigeria that shares international borders with three countries. On the northern side, it shares border with Niger. On the northeastern side, over here, it shares border with Chad. And on the eastern side, it shares border with Cameroon. All right. Now, Borno is the second largest area, and Nigeria in total has 36 states. Borno has second largest area. Now, since 2009, Borno has been impacted by Boko Haram. And I've told you before that Borno is a very poor state. Okay, very poor, lies very low as far as Human Development Index rankings are concerned. Okay, and that is why these areas which are poverty stricken, fall victim to insurgencies, terrorist attacks, and all that stuff. Okay, now from 2009 till 2022, this area has been a victim to Boko Haram, but in 2016, Boko Haram splintered into various factions. Boko Haram actually divided into various factions. One such faction affiliated itself with ISIS. You remember ISIS? Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, right? So one such faction affiliated itself with ISIS and they formed Islamic State's West Africa province. Now in 2022, actually, this entire province or most of its territory has been taken over by Islamic State's Western province, ISWAP. Okay, so Nigerian government has lost control over significant chunk of Borno's territory. It is under ISWAP's control. So this area is already very troubled. Okay, Now, this is everything about Borno. That's all you need to know about Borno. It shares border with which countries? It lies in the northeastern state. It is economical northeastern part of Nigeria. It is economically quite underdeveloped, very low in Human Development Index rankings. That's about it. And right now, it is under the control of not Nigerian government but ISWAP. Now let's, because Nigeria is in the news. Borno is part of Nigeria, so Nigeria automatically becomes a part of this discussion. Okay, so let's talk about a few facts related to Nigeria. Nigeria basic information. So as you can see over here, Nigeria lies in Western Africa. All right, and on the northern side, it shares borders with various countries. On its southern side, it shares a coastline. It doesn't share a coastline. It actually has a coastline which opens at Atlantic Ocean. All right. So Nigeria has a long coastline, and that coastline is on Atlantic Ocean. Basically, this region, as you can see over here in the map, where Nigeria's coastline is there, it is known as Gulf of Guinea. Gulf of Guinea actually lies on Atlantic Ocean only. Okay, so this is the entire geographical system of geographical location-wise information regarding Nigeria. As you can see, it shares border with Niger, Chad, Cameroon, Benin, and other countries. Okay. Now, its official name is Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is a West African country. It is situated between the Sahel region to the north. Sahel region is basically the region which lies in the Sahara Desert. Okay, and Gulf of Guinea to the south in the Atlantic Ocean. Its capital is Abuja, and its largest metropolitan area is Lagos. Okay. Now, Nigeria shares border with Niger, Chad in the northeast, Cameroon in the east, and Benin in the west. Now, Nigeria is the most populous country of Africa. You have to remember this fact. The most population-wise, the biggest country in Africa is Nigeria. It has a population of 230 million. Okay, so it is 23 crore people. Okay, so it is quite populated, and in the world rankings, it is placed at sixth number. Okay, so in Africa, it is the most populous country. On a world level, or at a global scale, it is sixth most populous country. Okay, I can show you the map in a more clear way. This is Nigeria's flag. Okay, Chad, Cameroon, Niger, Benin. Okay, here lies Gulf of Guinea, which opens at Atlantic Ocean. So it shares a long coastline. Lagos, its largest city, is there Mumbai. Okay, so it is their largest city and economically also very powerful. Abuja is their capital. Okay, now Borno was in news, Nigeria was in news. We covered that. Boko Haram was also in the news. So let's talk a bit more about Boko Haram. So Boko Haram, its official name is Jamaat Ahl Sunnah Dawahil Jihad. So it is an Islamist organization, jihadist organization, whose aim is to spread Sunni form of radical Islam in the entire world, but West Africa especially. Okay, now it was formed in 2002 and its founder was Muhammad Yusuf, but he died, and this movement continued. His organization continued till 2016 when Boko Haram split into various organizations. The most powerful faction was ISWAP, and it took control over Borno province. Okay, now Boko Haram is based in northeastern region of Nigeria, but it is also active in neighboring countries of Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Mali. All right, that's it. These will be short videos, and in these short videos, you just have to spend not more than 10 minutes regularly, and all the important geographical locations found in news, discussed in news, will get covered. So make this lecture series, again, like other lectures, make this lecture series also a part of your daily routine, because if you continue with this lecture series for 1 year, well, most of your important geographical locations all over the world would get covered. Okay, and that would really help you out in next year's prelims as well as in mains. Okay, I'll be signing off now, and I'll take your leave, and I'll see you next time with Places in News Part 2. Thank you, everyone.